Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do another video for my adult coloring for beginner series. I wanted to kind of pick up with that series that I had started, and I wanted to start here with a video where I kind of show you different coloring books that are great for beginners, and I'm going to go through each one of these coloring books and I'm going to show you exactly why they would be great for beginners. And I'm not going to do complete flip throughs of any of these books because this is not a flip through video, but I'm going to show you a little bit in a few of the pages, and I'm going to give you examples as to why each one of these artists are great for beginners, and not specifically these artists, but these specific books from these artists. And if you have any other questions, please do leave those in the comments below, because there are other books by these artists that would be great for beginners. I just did not pull every single one of them out just for sake of a very lengthy, or what could be a very lengthy video. I am going to continue with my adult coloring for beginners series. So if you are a beginner colorist, you want to make sure that you're subscribed to my channel and also have your bell notifications on so that you always know when I post new content. And if you like this video, please do make sure that you give it a thumbs up, because that helps my channel out a whole lot. Let's go ahead and start talking about these coloring books. The first company that we're going to talk about is Jade Summer. I believe that they are probably one of the biggest producers of coloring books on Amazon. They have so many different coloring books, but there are some specific ones that are fantastic for beginners. They even have some coloring books that are actually labeled for beginners, but I have chosen a few that I have in my stock that I feel like would be fantastic for beginners, especially if you are wanting to use colored pencils and practice your blending skills. The first one that I have that I just received this week is this Color by Number, and it is a book of just all flowers. And you guys know I love coloring flowers. And I'm actually going to use this book myself, because I've got some new pencils that I want to test out, and I wanted somewhere to be able to experiment with those pencils. And I have not actually tried a Color by Number book yet, but I know a lot of the coloring community really do love these, especially beginners. So if we look at this book, let's go ahead and just flip it open. If you look on the inside here, it actually has numbers. And for each number, it tells you what color. Like for instance, 1, we have white, 2 is light yellow, and they're very specific about the colors. So this is actually perfect for colored pencils and learning how to blend your colored pencils. If you look at this one that says medium yellow, and then this one has a 3 by it. So if I went to go find the section where there's a 3 in this picture of these flowers, here is a 3 right here, and it tells us that this 3 is going to be medium yellow. Now this is really great for practicing your blending skills if you're using pencils, because you could put together a different combination or different combinations of pencils that are going to create a medium yellow, and use that to kind of experiment right here. And because the space is so open and big, it gives you plenty of space to be able to practice with your colored pencils. So that's why this would be a really fantastic book. And this is not a flip through video, but I'm going to show you some of the pages in this book in case you would like to purchase this book for yourself. And down in the description below, I will have links for all of the coloring books that I'm showing you in this video. These are all very pretty patterns. These are all going to be very beautiful images once you put color on them and bring them to life. But I really love this book because you've got kind of a guide over here. It tells you exactly what number to place what color. And then I just love how, like, if you look at number 20 right here, it's got blue purple. Now you're going to have to make a combination for blue purple, and that is a little bit difficult for some beginners. So you will have to go, say you're using Prismacolors or Arteza or whatever you're using, you're going to go through your colors and you're going to find a really good combination of a blue purple to create a blue purple. And so you're going to have to kind of combine some different colors together until you get the perfect blue combination color that you love. You may need at least 3 pencils to come up with that, and you can even make sure that you add your highlights and use a paler blue or a paler purple in wherever you would find the number 20 in this flower pattern. So I think this is a really great book, and it is perfect for beginners. Now we have Flowers and Swirls. This one too is by Jade Summer. I am going to show you all of the artists all in order, just so that you know. So if you find something that you really like, you can just go on Amazon and you can search that artist and see what else they have that you might enjoy. If you would like to see a complete flip through of any of these books, please let me know in the comments below, and I will be sure to do that. This one is again by Jade Summer. It's called Flowers and Swirls. This one, as well as the Color by Number Flowers, those are both brand new books that just came out, I think at the end of November. If we look at this book, you can see that this is just beautiful patterns, or more flower patterns. This one is not color by number, but it has a lot of open space for you to practice your blending skills. And I know a lot of you that are subscribers to my channel and watch all my videos, you love the tutorials and you want to be able to just continue practicing with your blending. Now, with all the Jade Summer books, if you don't want to purchase the actual book from Amazon because you want to use your own paper, you all know which paper I recommend that I absolutely love. I always have, I use the Spring Hill paper. I always have a link down in the description box below. Now, know that I use the Spring Hill paper only with my Prismacolors. And if I'm using something like Arteza pencils, I like the Nina paper. I will have links in the description to the exact papers of those brands that I use if you're interested in printing out the digital copies of these books. But if you go to their website, I'll also have that link down below in the description box. But if you go to their website, you will find that you will be able to find digital copies of all of their books. Let's go ahead and just flip through some of these so that you can just kind of get an idea. Now see, these, the other thing I like about these is this is just a very simple book. If you just wanted to sit down and you wanted to do a quick color and you just kind of wanted to practice, this is the perfect book. And the Jade Summer books, they are very reasonably priced, so you're not going to spend a lot of money to get a new coloring book. Once you purchase these books, if you do purchase the book from Amazon and you want to make a copy of the page in your printer and put it on better paper, you can also do that. I do that all the time. But these are really just beautiful, like the title says, Flowers and Swirls, just really beautiful flower and swirl patterns. And just lots of open space. The other thing that this book would be absolutely perfect for is to do backgrounds. Now, if you need guidance or help with doing backgrounds or want to find some new ideas for backgrounds, I do have, I believe I have them all in a playlist on my channel, to where I have a bunch of different background tutorials that would help you with that if you need it. But this book, I believe, may have, oh, look how cute, it has an octopus. That's different. Still with flowers, and I guess his legs are swirls. That's really cute. So this book does have 50 images in it, and I'll just flip through really quick. And if you want to see them, you could always pause the video. But I've got a lot of books to go through, so I just want to make sure that you have an idea of exactly what this book has in it, just in case you would like to purchase this one for yourself. But it's got lots of open space, lots of place to practice your pencils. If you want to use markers in these books, they are great for that as well because they have the black backing. You would just stick a piece of cardstock or something in here behind so that it doesn't go through to the next page. Here is another one. This is also by the company Jade Summer. This one is called Stuffed Animals. I've had this book forever. I've printed out a couple on my favorite paper, and I've colored a couple of the pages in this book, and I absolutely love this book. So even if you're not a beginner, this one is just a really fun book to color. And this is one of their older ones. This is not a newer book, but this one is fantastic for beginners, and I'll tell you why. When I'm coloring books like this, it really brings me back to my childhood. And sometimes we all just need that, just to kind of sit down and color and get away from all the stresses of real life. I mean, face it, we all color because we want to just kind of remove ourselves from whatever is going on in the world and whatever is going on in reality, and just kind of bring ourselves to this very relaxing place. So this is a fantastic book for that. Like I said, it's very cutesy. And if you look at some of the images, like there are just fantastic pictures in here because it gives you so many things that you could practice. Like if you look at this page, you look at it like maybe, oh, this is really childish. This is a kid's coloring book. Really, it's not, because there is so much practice here. There's a strawberry here on the pancakes. You could practice coloring strawberries. And the pancakes and the toppings on the pancakes, these are all fantastic things to learn to color. There are clouds in the background. This would be a fantastic way to learn how to color clouds. And then mixed in this book, you've got all of the little kids, and they're all adorable. In this picture, they are outside. And so, of course, there's going to be sunlight. So you would just picture where the sunlight is coming down from. And then you would color in the stuffed animals and make sure you put your highlights where they go. Here is wood right here. This is another fantastic one. You would color wood kind of the same way you would color, I would guess, like a tree branch. And I do have a tutorial for that on my channel. But you've also got some tree branches here. And there is just so many things in these books that are fantastic to be able to practice. On this page here, we have this adorable little girl with a really expressive face. You could practice your skin coloring. You could practice your hair coloring. You can figure out new combinations for hair and put those together and be able to practice them on this page. You could sit down if you've got grandkids. You could sit down with this book, make your grandchild a copy. I do this all the time, and I'll sit and color with my grandson, and I'll make him a copy of whatever page I'm coloring or the page that he chooses, and we'll just sit and do it together. So now I'm just going to flip through kind of quick so you can see some of the images in this book. In this book, you will get 2 pages of each image, so that if you mess up on one, you've always got another one to color. Now we are moving on to one of my favorite artists, and this is where I started when I started coloring. But I have a whole cabinet. I am not even exaggerating. I have an entire cabinet, an entire shelf of Deborah Muller's books. I love her books. I still color in them today. If you look back on my channel, you'll see I just did a Deborah Muller color along. If you are interested in that, I will link it in the upper right hand corner. But Deborah was so nice to create a page for my Facebook group, and so everybody was able to follow along with the color along with me on my YouTube channel. There's a link for my Facebook group down in the description below. But this one is a more recent one. This one is her girlfriend's coloring book. And there are adorable images in this book. And her books are fantastic if you want to learn how to color skin and hair. And here we have a cake, so you would have to learn how to color or practice coloring a cake and the icing on the top of the cake. And here's a strawberry. There are so many practice things. Here's a present down here, but there are so many things just in this one image that would be fantastic practice. You've got balloons up here and their dresses. When you're coloring something like clothes, like if you look at her dress here, it's absolutely adorable. So you would have to figure out contrasting colors and practice contrasting colors, as well as creating your own blends with your colored pencils. So say I was coloring the flowers here, and I wanted the background to contrast with the flowers so that the flowers stood out. You would have to get out your color wheel and see which colors would look best up against one another so that the flowers really stood out. So if you were looking at your color wheel, you would choose colors on the opposite ends of the color wheel. And then you would do the same thing with her clothes, because she's got these polka dots on her dress. And this would be so fun because you guys know me. I would get out my glitter and I would make her polka dots all glitter. But this book is really adorable. You've got lots of clothes in here. You've got some pages that just have sayings on them. This is really cute. And this one here, this is great for hair. And she's got, oh, look at this. So see her hairstyle? This is so creative. In her braid, which is not, it looks more like a wrapped braid, but you would have to figure out exactly where to put the highlights in her braid. And this is a lesson in itself. And here we've got three girls with three different hairstyles. It's not just about coloring hair, it's also about learning how to color the different hairstyles and where you want the highlights in that particular hairstyle. And then the clothes in here are just absolutely adorable. So I'm just going to flip through this one real quick so you can get an idea of the images in here. Oh, look at the old ladies. Oh, how cute. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Oh, I love it. There are a lot of images in this book. And look at this. This is a perfect lesson on this page. You've got the skin on the back of their legs. You've got clouds here, and then you have a rainbow. So there are so many things on this page that you could practice as well. Here is another adorable book. This one is by Deborah Muller. This one is called Little Sweethearts, and I believe she released this one maybe a little over a year ago on Valentine's Day. She always releases books around particular holidays, and she's so fast about getting them out. And sometimes for every holiday, she has 2 or 3. She has so many coloring books. But this one is absolutely adorable. And you can see it's got the darker line art in it, but this is really good because if you look at the hair, you could see that the hair has much wider strands in it. So that makes it great for practicing. And it's got much bigger spacing. And that is why I would suggest this one for beginners. Just because when you have more spacing, it makes it easier to really just practice. And if you want to use markers in this book, which I do on a lot of her pages as well, you just go ahead and slide something in there behind, and you're okay to use markers. Isn't this so cute? But see, like, for example, if you look at this page, this page is perfect for beginners. Not only do you have just a very simple image, it's adorable. You're going to get to practice some skin. You will get to practice hair, and this would be a different hairstyle. She has so many different hairstyles. And then you've got a bird to practice on. And of course, you've got a lot of background space. So if you wanted to practice your backgrounds and even follow one of my tutorials on my channel, you can do that. Here's an adorable little angel. Oh, this one's cute. This book is another very cutesy one, but it is very simple and it's happy. You get lots of background space. You can practice all your hairstyles. You can practice clothing. This is another Deborah Muller book, and this one is one of her thicker books. This one she came out with, I believe, 2 springs ago. It's called A Fashion Wonderland, and you get 50 fashion fairies. So they're all fairies. You could practice your wings, If you didn't already see my video where I did sparkly iridescent wings, you must watch that video, because you can get one of these books or another book that has fairies in it, and you can use my tutorial and make some beautiful wings. So let's go ahead and look at some of the images in here. This one is just so pretty. Look at all the detail in her dress, all these flowers down here. Most all of these throughout the entire book, you are going to get a lot of background space. You'll be able to practice hair, you can practice skin. The outfits are very detailed because this book is mainly focused on the outfits and fashion. So you will be able to practice all of your contrasting colors, creating your blends, maybe doing this dress here in different layers and different colors for each layer, and then making sure these flowers really contrast with the background here and the other parts of the dress. Then you've got the wings that you could practice coloring wings and maybe follow that tutorial that I'm going to have linked up in the upper right hand corner. You've got all different hairstyles. This one is another really great book and would be fantastic for beginners. Now I have my next artist who is one of my favorites, and that is Hannah Lynn. And I'm going to tell you exactly why her books would be perfect for beginners. This book here is one of her newest releases, and both of the ones that I have here with me are going to be her newer releases, and there's a reason for that. But this one is Whimsical Girls Through the Decades. Now, my reason for that, you may look at this book and you may think, oh my gosh, there's so much detail, that is overwhelming. Well, what she did in her most recent books is just fabulous. She gives you one image where you've got all the intricate detail, and then if you turn the page, it is zoomed in and it has a lot less detail. So, with that being said, this book is perfect for beginners because you can use this page to practice, put together your color combinations, see exactly what you like, see where you want to lay your highlights and your shadows and your shading. And then after you are all done, like here we've got some wood to practice on, and you've got some trees in the background. After you're all done and you feel pretty confident, then you can go back and you can color the same image but zoomed out with much more detail, and use the color combinations that you've discovered and apply your highlights and your shading and your shadows in all the same places. And then you've got a little bit of extra detail on this one that you would just have to finish, and this would be fantastic because you've got to learn how to color clouds, and that is more practice. So I'll just flip through a few of these pages so you could see the images in the book. But this is more practice with skin, practice with hair. You've got the trees in the background, so you have to practice coloring tree bark. You've got some wood here in the background. You've got some bushes. But this is the zoomed out version. And then I've got the zoomed in version with much less detail. I'm going to go ahead and just flip through this book so that you could see some of the images, because the images in this book are just really beautiful. I love Hannah Lynn's girls. This one is a really great one to practice on because you've got the big open background. So after you're done using this to practice all of your blending skills, then you can go and discover a new background and try a few things and just kind of experiment with it. But these are all, in this book, are going to be all just girls from the different decades. So it's really cool. This one is nice and simple. This one would be a rather quick color. You've got the background. But I would say after you practice with the one that is zoomed in, then I would go back and try to do the same thing with the images that have been zoomed out. And when you're using the images that have been zoomed in, they have a lot less background taken up, so you can practice your backgrounds. So let me go ahead and just flip through this one a little bit quicker so that you could see some of the images here. I did do a flip through on my channel a complete flip through of this book. So I'm really not going to go too much through that. I have a video where I have a background tutorial mixed in with a flip through of this book, and I'll make sure that's linked in the upper right hand corner for you. This one here is also by Hannah Lynn, and this is one of her newer books. This one is Whimsical Girls at Work. And this is the same idea with all Hannah Lynn's books. You could see all of the images on the front that are contained inside the book, and I love how she just puts names and has a title basically for each page. Like this one is called Boss Lady. This one is called Rise and Shine. I just love how she does that. And then she's got some books where the girls actually have names. But see, this is a very simple color and a very great practice page. And just the same idea as the other book. You've got the image that is zoomed out with all of the background. This one has a lot of detail, but if you turn the page, you get a lot less detail. And this one is really great because you've got to learn how to color the sunglasses and apply your highlights over the lines here in the sunglasses. Oh, this one looks so fun because I'm already thinking that if I were to color this one, I would experiment a little bit and add things on the chalkboard myself in the background. That would be really super cool. You can get really creative with some of these pages. Don't always think that you need to stick to whatever the artist did. If you've watched some of my tutorials, you've seen that I try to kind of add my own thing when I'm coloring on some of the images and the things that I color, especially flowers. And if I'm coloring something like a tree, I will make sure that I add all the texture and everything to make the tree look much more realistic. So let me go ahead and just flip through this one too really quick so you can see some of the images. And every single one in all of her newer books, if you like this artwork, does have the zoomed in image and the zoomed out image. And if you go to her website, she has artist editions of her book on better paper. These are the Amazon paper, so it's on the Create Space paper, so it is a little bit thinner, but they are still really workable to be able to color with your Prismacolors or even use marker on these pages if you put something behind. But this is a really adorable book. And again, if I'm going too fast for you, you can pause the video and kind of look at some of the pages. I don't believe I ever did a flip through on my channel of this one. So I'll go all the way to the end just because I never did a flip through of this one. This is the last book that I want to share with you, and I believe I shared this one in my video where I did my very first video of my Adult Coloring for Beginner series, and I was sharing with you different pencil choices on a budget and different coloring books. This is a book that I really do love because if you are looking for better paper, this one is Mandalas by Color It. It is their volume 2 book. There are 50 images in here, but their books are really great because you've got the perforated lines up here. You've got the much thicker paper, so it is not the Amazon paper. This one is nothing but mandalas. So they do look a little bit more intricate, but it gives you space to be able to practice contrasting colors, because when you color mandalas, you want all of these separate spaces to contrast with one another, so every one space stands out above the other. I believe that all of these in here are a little bit more intricate, but you've got pages like this where you can use this just for some practice. Like if you wanted to practice your contrasting colors here, instead of so much practicing your blending skills, you can use one of these little tiny images and see how much you can make this pop off the page just using contrasting colors. Oh, this one is so pretty. And see, in this one, you could practice your coloring of flowers. And the paper is kind of smooth in these books. I would imagine it's kind of comparable to the Joanna Basford books, I would think. And it's actually about the same thickness. So if you're looking for a book with better paper, this is definitely one. And then if you wanted to cut it out, it's got the perforations on the pages. But a lot of these are all mandalas. I'll just flip through here really quick, just so you can see some of the images in this book, but I'm not going to do a total flip through. So that was Mandalas Volume 2 by Colorist. This was a lot of coloring books, and I still have a whole entire cabinet. But these are the coloring books that I picked out of my cabinet that I thought would be great for beginners. I also explained exactly why I think that they would be great for beginners, so I hope that y'all got some ideas from that. And if there are any of these coloring books that you would like to purchase for yourself, I'll have all the links down in the description below so that you can get these coloring books for yourself. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure you subscribe and you turn on your bell notifications, because I am going to continue with my Adult Coloring for Beginners series. If there is anything that you would like to see added on to that series, let me know in the comments. I always read all of my comments. I always try to come back and answer and respond to all of you. I love talking to you guys in my comments section. So make sure that if you have any ideas or there's anything in particular that you would like to see, you let me know. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Happy coloring. Bye.